Just want to thank everyone for attending our CIC Spring 2021 event. This is the second of these virtual events, but I think we're all looking forward to more in-person gatherings in the future. You'd think that planning a virtual event would be considerably less effort than an in-person event, but that is incorrect. So with that in mind, I'd like to say thanks to the CIC staff for planning and coordinating this amazing event. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for us to come together and hear some of the inspirational stories of our entrepreneurs and find out all of the new and exciting programs happening at CIC. Secondly, I want to thank all of the volunteers, board members, and community partners which help us deliver our very impactful mission to the community. I was lucky enough to attend the workshop last night, and it reminded me of all the excitement that I felt and the impact that I look forward to when I was a participant 7 years ago. Since that time, I've found every opportunity to support and engage in CIC's mission every chance I get, just like many of you. So thanks to all of you for sharing our enthusiasm to strengthen our community through training, networking, mentoring, and financing. Now I'd like to hand it off to a person who is an even bigger champion for CIC's mission, whether he's on a Zoom meeting or walking on the downtown mall, our Executive Director, Stephen Davis.
Thanks, Lee. Welcome, everyone. No applause needed, but appreciate you all being here. On this late May day. We do this every year, and it's it's the second year in a row we haven't been able to gather in person for a cocktail event or a lunch event, but we're thrilled that all of you are able to join us today. I'm going to mute everyone else at the moment, just so you know, just to help with some of the background noise. But if for our panelists and so forth, when they speak, they can unmute in a few minutes. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Anna, do you want to share your screen for us to help get that going? See if waiting on that. But it's been a crazy year for CIC, and the world. CIC being a small, inhabit our small part of the world. But we've all had a lot of changes in our lives over the last year, and some of those things, and every few weeks have had to adapt or change in different ways, and businesses even more so, just as they've tried to kind of make the world work and make their business work the way they needed to. But kind of our update today, we want to kind of share a little bit about what some of those things that CIC did to adapt and how to help entrepreneurs and business owners through the pandemic. What else has been going on with CIC and how we've continued to grow even, in spite of all the changes with the pandemic, and then some of our plans for the future. So, Anna, a few of those are here, but why don't we dive right in a little bit to the pandemic. So, Anna, you want to hit the next one? So, starting last year, in March, the whole world shut down, and CIC is no exception. I'm in the office today, and probably starting next month, our team will start transitioning to working back in the office, and with the hopes of opening to the public, in July or later this summer. But with that change, we had to, our workshop was in week 3 or 4, I believe, last March, and we had to pivot to Zoom. We took a short break so we could adapt, and Shannon and the team there did incredible work kind of adapting the workshop to Zoom, and relaunched a few weeks later. And so we have now on our wall here in the office, we have over 20 cohorts, 20 photos of graduate classes and cohorts that gone through our program. And while they're not on the wall yet, 3 of them are going to look like the photo on your screen here today. That the class shot was taken as a Zoom photo, much like we all look at each other right now. So that'll memorialize a little bit of kind of the experience of the last year. But it's moving to Zoom is I think the team has done incredible work. It's still making the class interactive and engaging, but it is challenging. I think one of the things missing from it that we just can't adapt to is you don't get those informal conversations that happen during breaks, where people chat in the back of the room and talk to each other. But beyond that, we've had some wonderful classes and some great businesses that have come out of the workshops between spring 2020, fall 2020, and our current cohort that is going through the program right now that actually finishes next week. So we'll have another class that'll finish. The rest of our programs have all been virtual as well, whether it's office hours, those consultations with attorneys and accountants and so forth, mentoring, the financial management program, all of those things have been virtual in the last year. The other thing we kind of coming into the pandemic last year is a lot of businesses, as they were shutting down, needed some working capital and needed some help to kind of keep the rent paid or keep employees on in those early months. And it seems like so long ago, but last April and May, the Paycheck Protection Program in the early days was a real struggle, especially for the very small businesses, and even still is for some, even as it wraps up. And so we are able to work with the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County to put together a business recovery fund that made about $600,000 in loans in about 2 months. And so for those of you who've been with CIC a long time, you know that we've averaged over our history, we've averaged 1 or 2 loans a month, and just in the recent years, $300,000 or $400,000 a year. And we did $600,000 in 2 months, back last April and May. And so that was a big undertaking, but really provided a lot of support for businesses as they were kind of entering the summer months. And several, we'll hear at least from one of those stories, in a little bit. The other big thing that happened to us that we would never have predicted, but we ended up partnering with 11 local governments who received CARES Act money and was providing grants to local businesses. And all of the local governments set their criteria for them, but we were able to work with them to manage those grants to help businesses that had maybe fallen through the cracks of other programs or needed other support. And we ended up making over 800 grants for $12 million to businesses and organizations, as they were kind of struggling last summer. So keep in mind, I just said we used to 1 or 2 loans a month, and then did about 60 loans in 2 months, and then 800 grants over the last half of last year. And that was just an incredible undertaking, and our team came together in a lot of ways to do it while still running the rest of our programs, and provided a lot of support. That beyond the critical help that a lot of those businesses receive, the other things that really helped as far as how CIC moves forward, we deepened our relationships with local government and economic development offices, and kind of expanded our reach to a lot of other businesses that needed help. And so many of those businesses that received grants also ended up receiving help through other CIC or Small Business Development Center, SBDC programs. So it was quite a year and quite an undertaking for all of that. And that was just part of a number of things that happened as far as our COVID response, but CIC continued to grow through all of that. And the 2 other big changes in the last year. So right before the pandemic in January of 2020, we took over as host for the Central Virginia SBDC. So those of you in the kind of used to the business sector know that the SBDC has been in the area for about 40 years, and they've been hosted at another agency. Now the SBDC team is a part of CIC. They're employees of CIC, and it's a separately branded program, but still under the CIC umbrella. And that was a great opportunity to bring business service providers together to make it easier for the larger community to access business counseling and lots of other business assistance. The SBDC was a big part of pandemic response and helping people apply for PPP loans, getting assistance to pivot and adapt your business. And between that and kind of the work and us working with them over the last year, SBDC tripled the amount of hours that it provided as counseling hours to businesses in the region, going from 900 before we took over in 2019 to over 3,100 hours last year. And we're well on pace to blow through that for this year already as well. So that's a big change. But you might ask, if you've been around and know CIC long enough, what does that mean? Like, what does that look like as we continue to go forward? SBDC will always serve the broader business community, all small businesses. But CIC, we have this equity mission. It's about helping those who often might not have ability to get a bank loan yet because they're newer in business or credit or track record, populations that have often been left behind or experience additional barriers to being successful in business. That's the core of what CIC is, about helping those under-resourced entrepreneurs. That doesn't change. It just means we have a whole nother network of resources and assets through the SBDC network that we can then put to work for CIC clients and continue to serve, the SBDC mission and the broader business community. So it's a wonderful opportunity as we continue to grow to provide a lot of service throughout the region and continue to help folks, all businesses, but with CIC's focus of providing that extra lift for those who need it to kind of get up and running. So we're excited about that, and there's lots more to come with it. The other big news for CIC this January was we received our certification as a what's called a CDFI, Community Development Finance Institution. This is a U.S. government Department of Treasury certification that says both we have good lending practices, but also that we serve populations that often have trouble accessing credit. If you have trouble getting a bank loan because you don't own the building you're in, or you don't have that collateral, or you have been in business, haven't been in business as long, that means that lots of businesses get even left further behind. And so CDFIs target those communities, provide additional capital. And so our certification means that we're going to be able to even grow our lending even more going forward and really advance our mission in a lot of new and unique ways in the coming years. So we're excited about that certification. It's kind of a good housekeeping seal of approval. And we're excited to see what we can do with it as we move forward. One example, just to give you context, had we been a CDFI last year, we actually could have do PPP loans, Paycheck Protection Program loans. And so in addition to banks, we could have made it easier to for folks to access that capital had we been certified pre-pandemic. So with all of that growth and so forth, we've seen, a couple of quick data points I'll share with you. You can see, I think Laura Horn used to always love calling it the hockey stick chart for our growth. And, here it is as we continue to update on the loans. We've done about 1.7 million in loans over the lifetime of CIC. 60% of that has been in the last 24 months, helping businesses. And, about of that 60%, half has been pandemic related and half has been other loans that are in other businesses that are getting up and running. So that growth doesn't look to be slowing. We probably won't do as many of the pandemic related loans this year, but we are still seeing several new inquiries every month. And we've already done this year, I think we're up to about 175,000 in lending already this year. So we're kind of well on track to continue that growth. The other big picture thing that I always share about CIC, every dollar that CIC has spent since we opened has returned $5.65 in wages from new jobs that have been created. And those are just the ones we can count. I'm sure there's some of our graduates who have created jobs that we just haven't heard about because they didn't share, oh, I hired a new person this week or last year or whatever. So that's what we've been able to document. So that's a big picture, just return on investment. That's at least 96 new businesses that have launched, in addition to another 180, 200 existing businesses that have grown. Over 203 new full-time equivalent jobs that have been created. And that wages number is nearly 16 million of wages just from those new jobs. So we've returned a lot to the community on the data side, but I think as most of us, we care about the actual people that were involved. And each business represents a business owner and a family. Each of those employees represents families and so forth. And all of that, make our community stronger and just a special place to live. So the fun part of each of these events is always our panel. And so a quick say their names, and then we'll take the PowerPoint slides down. But Jessica Lino with Pharmacy, wonderful business, and I'll let her introduce herself in a second. Pictured with her is her husband and business partner, Gabino, who we could not convince to join us, but Jessica does wonders. Tim Eddith with Nighthawk Construction, and then Mercy Best with Steam Kits. And so, Anna, if you want to take down our slides, and we're going to pin all of those. One suggestion as we're starting our panel, unless you really want to see everyone on the screen, I would suggest that you, if you switch to the speaker view, you will get to see just our panelists as we all talk. So it's up to you on how you want to view it, but we will get that set up for you in just a second. And then I will ask them to start. So there's, let's see, and there we go. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Jessica, Tim, Mercy, appreciate you being here. If you want to unmute yourself as you start to talk in a second. But Jessica, I'm going to start with you. You are the distinction of being the first two-time graduate of our workshop. You were an early graduate several years ago, and then as your business evolved and pivoted, you took it again like 2 years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and how you found CIC?
Hi, Jessica Lino, formerly known as Jessica Hogan. Recently, my business partner and I got married, so name change. I found CIC, actually went to a birthday party and met Waverly, who many of you know. And her and I ended up talking about how we found out we graduated the same nutrition school. And I told her that I would love to start my own business and help people kind of eat healthier. And she told me about CIC. And so that's how that started. And CIC was great because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And Keir was with them at the time, and he and everybody kind of came up with a smoothie delivery service. And that's how that started. And then a few years later, found my boyfriend and Gabino and I found a friend was selling a food truck, and we thought, well, shoot, maybe we should change the concept of pharmacy and go a different direction, and didn't know how to do that. So I called Steven. I said, hey, can I take the course again and have Gabino come with me and just kind of change the business model a little and do it. And it was great. And it worked. It was very helpful to dive back into the course again.
Cool. Jessica, what is pharmacy? What is it? What was it? How would you describe the business right now? Food truck?
Now it's a food truck. Yes, we do local organic superfood Mexican fusion. So we're hoping to have a brick and mortar someday, hopefully sooner than later. And with that, we'd like to expand past just doing Mexican fusion and doing just local organic fusion food, so we can do lots of different genres.
Yeah, delicious. And there are, we've delicious. We've used them multiple times. And where do you operate mostly now? Where do you sell mostly with the truck?
Oh man. Well, so it started off being part-time. COVID changed that. We were working in restaurants full-time and then got laid off. So we decided to take the food truck and figure out what we could do. So we started doing deliveries in neighborhoods, and then started taking the food trucks to neighborhoods. So most of COVID was neighborhoods, and then when in season, vineyards and breweries. So that's kind of how we've been able to maintain, and did really well with it last year. So now you can find us all over the greater area of Charlottesville, still doing neighborhoods, vineyards, breweries, caterings, lots of different things.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, Jessica, your story is a powerful one, because you both worked in the food service industry, part-time while working on your business. And when the pandemic kind of forced you to kind of, you couldn't work there as much, you actually took your business full-time.
Yeah. And then the restaurants wanted us to come back, and we tried, but we couldn't, because pharmacy was demanding both of our attention and time, which was great. It was a blessing. So it was was okay.
Yeah, well, and you've grown a full-time business during the pandemic, so that's been incredible. So you should be proud of that. So
Thank you. Yes.
So yeah, I'll come back to you in a second, Jessica. But Tim, Tim is with Nighthawk Construction, another CIC grad. Tim, tell us about yourself and how you got to CIC and your business.
Well, yeah, I got to CIC from a friend of mine. We were working together, and he said, I heard about this organization in Charlottesville that helps businesses kind of expand and grow, even helps with financing. And I said, well, that sounds really interesting. I hadn't ever heard of CIC, and I was out of the work field for about a year or so, recovering from a back injury. And I said, well, it sounds like something I'd be interested in. I'd look into it. And he said, well, I'll do the same. So we both decided to look into CIC, and we ended up both taking the class. But I didn't really know what I was getting into at first. I thought it was going to be some refresher course, not knowing it was a real serious business course. I didn't know how informative it would be, and I was pleasantly surprised and excited about how serious the people were there and how encouraging they were for my business. I mean, they were just as excited and sometimes more than I was to help me get to where I needed to be. Even though I had a business for some time, there were things that I needed to do more efficiently and basically correctly. I wasn't doing things the right way, especially when it came to bookkeeping. And to learn those actual practices the right way were so beneficial for me in my business that I've seen growth exponentially in the last year, and it's helped me tremendously.
And so, Tim, what is your business? Tell us about it.
Well, Nighthawk Construction and Nighthawk Services is a home repair service and a janitorial service. And basically, we're a handyman service for your home or your business. Those things that, you don't really want to call a big company for, but you may not be able to do yourself. So it's that kind of stopgap company that can take care of the minor things that are just still too big for you as a homeowner or the business owner to take care of. So I found a little niche in that has been keeping me extremely busy.
Cool. And you had a business before, right? Before your injury?
Yeah, I actually had a big construction business where we did additions and remodels. And to be honest, I don't miss it. I don't miss the business bigger as I used to have it. Business at this level is more manageable. I don't have nowhere near the amount of employees, but business is a lot quicker in the sense that the jobs are smaller, but I've seen that I can get in and out a lot faster. I don't have to be at one particular location for 3-4 weeks or months. The longest the job lasts for me is about 3 or 4 days. So it's just more enjoyable for me.
Okay. So great. Well, I'll come back to you a couple other questions in a second. But Marcy, steam kits. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found CIC and your business.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Mercy Best. I'm actually a graduate student at UVA studying Alzheimer's disease, but also the founder of STEAM Kits. And I actually started this concept when I was in college at William & Mary, and I just wanted to go into communities and get the kids really excited about science. So we would do program and hands-on activities with the kids. But as I transitioned to grad school, that model was just unsustainable. And there had been floating ideas about making it a kit. So these are the boxes where we just package all of the activities inside. But I actually connected with the Small Business Development Center after finishing up Go Startup, which was just a pilot course it was a crash course on entrepreneurship. And they actually gave us the foundation to found the company. So I founded STEAM Kits in 2020 through Go Startup. And then after connecting with the Small Business Development Center, specifically Yolanda Harrell, who was also an alumni of CIC, she strongly encouraged me to enroll in the program to get a lot more clarity on the business. And I also think that CIC helped me with the accountability side of having these other entrepreneurs that are counting on me to make some progress over the week and really implement the learnings that we had from whoever facilitated the course. And so for me, I think STEAM Kits is all about making education engaging and accessible, and also affirming in a sense where kids can really see themselves being scientists and mathematicians in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, and as I was saying, I have a 6-year-old who's getting to that age where I think you benefit from that. So looking forward to those. What's so you you had the idea, and when you got into CIC, what was the biggest revelation to you, or biggest way we helped you as you were kind of taking those next steps?
Yeah, I would say the CIC really dug deep into what an entrepreneur is. So when I was in the Go Startup course, I actually failed the quiz on, are you an entrepreneur or should you be an entrepreneur? Because just like the way I thought about things were not in the business realm of what a traditional entrepreneur would look like. But through CIC, like each week, I was getting intentional mentorship of different business concepts. And even the handbook, I don't have the physical book with me, but that still serves as a major resource for me to this day, where I go back over the activities that we did in class and really make sure I'm keeping the updated on the business. And I'll also say CIC provided me with a whole network of people that I can go to. So like if I'm struggling with the bookkeeping, I can reach out to Ellen Martin, who came and taught our class on cash flow and all of that stuff. And it's also, these people are like also accountability partners. So they're checking in like, hey, are you just still making progress? And they also introduced me to the customer discovery aspect, which I just never even thought about. And then I furthered that work after CIC. I enrolled in ICAP. And so ICAP really is hitting it hard with the customer discovery and how important market research is. So CIC provided me the foundation to truly say that and feel confident about saying that I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Now, mention ICAP, so it's Innovation Commercialization Program that the Small Business Development Center we have access to because of our hosting of SBDC, and just another example of, we kind of teach customer discovery in our workshop, and then ICAP really forces you to do it, and really hard, especially for a product business like yourself. And so I'm glad you were able to do that. I'll come back to you in just a second, but Tim, I think we've helped you with a loan along the way, right? Last year, kind of in the pandemic, is that right?
Yes, that's true. It was really helpful at the time. When it was time to kind of expand the business a little bit and purchase equipment that was needed, CIC was right there for me with a loan. And I couldn't have asked for a better partner in business when it came to that. I was in need. I talked to Shannon and yourself, and we sat down. We went through the program. It wasn't even difficult. It was one of those situations where, there's a certain program you have to go through. You have to do it the way that it's set up. There's no skipping any of those steps. But I learned a lot even through that process, and it was so helpful because we were able to get the equipment we needed for the jobs. That's where we're at. We're at a growth stage right now. Like I was saying earlier, work was coming in at such a good rate that we needed more equipment, and that was for the cleaning side of the business. So yeah, that was really helpful.
I'm glad we were able to help there. growing is hard, right? You need a lot of the that capital to get there, and that's one of the things we try to offer. Jessica, what was the most valuable thing that we've, like, after the workshop? We've helped you in a few different ways. What's been most valuable since either of the times you were in the workshop?
Oh man, I just really appreciate the fact that if I have any questions or need any guidance or direction, you guys are just always there. And I know I've come to you, Stephen, a few times and asked about what do you think the best direction is when I had an idea, or, you know, hey, I was propositioned by this, what do you think about it? You know, and for somebody that's new at this and trying to grow the business and know what's the right next step, that's kind of terrifying, you know, when you don't really know and you're in it. So it's easier to, or comforting to ask somebody on the outside that has maybe more business knowledge than myself for advice. So I feel like the ability to be able to come to you and ask for advice and direction is the most helpful, because sometimes I just need someone to hold my hand a little.
Yeah. Or and sometimes I feel like a few times we've talked about 3 things, and you're like, you know, you're ready to do something, but needed to like step back a step or 2 before you did it.
Right, exactly. And you just help gain a little bit of different perspective, you know, you just look over here, you know.
Yeah,
that's really helpful.
Cool. So yeah, all of you do different parts of our programs, you know, whether it's, you know, kind of just meeting one-on-one, the loans, you know, kind of through SBDC and ICAP. You know, and obviously that's one of the strong points we've always had with CICs. We want to keep you connected whenever you need it, whether it's, you know, this week or, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now. Jessica, you came back to the workshop, you know, 3-4 years later, right? It's always available. So as you're kind of moving forward, what's next for your businesses? Mercy, why don't you start? What's next? What is the next year, or, you know, what's the big picture look like?
Yeah, so right now we currently just have one kit. It's called Ice Steam Boss. It challenges kid and their family or whoever helps out to become the owner of their own ice cream truck business. And so they do a series of experiments and art projects that kind of explore ice cream. But we recently received a phone call from an organization that wants a football kit. So that is coming up next. We're coming out hopefully by Father's Day, because I think that would be a nice branding marketing way to say, hey, Father's Day football. So we're coming out with that kit. Also, we're partnering with UVA. They have an accelerator internship program, and they'll be paying for us to have 3 interns this summer, which is going to be amazing. Just getting, you know, our marketing together, also, you know, thinking about concepts, and then also the market research, doing customer interviews. And so I can also drop the link to the Candidly website that I have, where I am scheduling customer interviews right now. So if anyone on the call is a mother of school-age children, or a director of an out-of-school time organization like a Boys and Girls Club or Girl Scouts troop, feel free to sign up and chat with me for about 15 minutes.
Oh, look at that, still doing the customer discovery interviews. So awesome. Tim, what's next for you?
Well, you know, working with the theory of working on my business, not in my business, and talking with, you know, Molly with Sidecar and accounting, the next step is to get a few employees. We're going to work on 2 employees and a service van for the business, to have some people actually working in the business doing things that I've been doing. So I really would like to have a couple of employees in the field and a service van. So, well, I guess I'll be looking for another loan soon. More financing. But yeah, that's the plan, because business is there for it. It's just time to expand. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the fall.
Great. And how about you, Jessica? What's next for you and Gavino and pharmacy?
Like Tim said, looking for a way to expand, and we need to grow. We've been talking with some people about a location would start off with just a kitchen and takeout only, come in and order your food and take it to go. But I feel like it's the perfect next step from a food truck, instead of diving straight into a full restaurant and having front and back of the house and all that to manage. It might be a little too much to take on, but I think I don't have anything signed yet, so I'll be a little discreet, but there is stuff in the works. So I'm really excited about it and hope it comes to fruition. I think it sounds like a good fit for us if that happens.
Yeah, I know she can't share at the moment, but there's some exciting news potentially on the horizon that everyone keep your fingers crossed that we can share, and make it easier for all of us to enjoy pharmacy many more days of the week. So great. Well, if folks have a question or two, either throw them in the chat or pipe up and give you just a minute on that, and then I'll kind of wrap up with what's next for CIC a little bit. But any burning questions that folks want to hit on? And while I'm waiting for those or looking at those, we've put their email and phone numbers in the chat. So if you're interested in reaching out to them, please do so. Just because I know they'd love to have your attention. I know pharmacy is willing to go if you have an event or catering, and obviously you can order steam kits, and Tim does great work if you need a little bit of work done at your home. So all of those are potential. So I don't see any questions popping up at the moment.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm curious in the loans. So you've made a lot of larger loans to more established companies, but what at this point is the mix between sort of smaller loans to companies that are really starting up versus potentially larger loans to bigger businesses, and how much of your collective time is each one of those pieces taking?
Well, I'll try to give the quick answer to that one, but we still, a lot of the loans during the pandemic were around $10,000 or $15,000, so like they're kind of in the middle, and our average loan is probably growing to about 18 or 20 now, because we're doing more. Our cap is currently 35,000, but with the CDFI opportunities, that might grow this year. And so, but we're seeing it more on the bigger side, but we just, last month did another $5,000 loan for a business that was, expanding its inventory as they move into a location. And so we still have that mix of loans that are both small and large. And if anything, we kind of have a little bit of both sides of it. You have a number of them at the 25 and 30,000, and then a number at the $5,000 or $10,000 level. So it's still a healthy mix, but we're definitely growing as far as the number of what for us is larger loans.
Sure.
There's a question, Jessica. I saw the pharmacy, the neighborhood schedule, if you have it, so
yeah,
I'll let you.
I was just typing. I need, like, in my phone, I could show you a whole giant, shoot the whole summer if you want, but I don't know how to get that onto this laptop into this chat.
Why don't you tell us
this week.
Does she by chance have a website or something like that where people can check to see what neighborhood and the times?
So the best way, yes, I do have a website. It's pharmacy.guru, but I will be honest with you, I'm terrible at putting it on there because everybody seems to be on Facebook more. So
Okay.
I try to put everything on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram also, I'll take a picture of my phone that's got like 2 weeks worth. So that's kind of the best short way to get the most events if you're on Instagram, or you can definitely shoot me an email, because then I can screenshot my phone and send you it in your email. That's probably the easiest.
Okay, thank you.
I'll give Lee one more question. I'll give Lee the last question from the chat. Jessica, Tim, or Mercy, what would be the piece of advice you'd give to future entrepreneurs, who are kind of a couple steps behind you? Either one of whoever wants to offer.
I'll take that one. I would say as soon as you leave the program or graduate, not to become complacent. Take that feeling of adulation, excitement of graduating the program, and use that as fuel for your business. Don't become complacent. Don't stop. Don't rest on your laurels. Remember that feeling of excitement and put that into your business on a regular basis. Because if you don't, what will happen is you'll fall back into a series of oh, maybe I can't, or this won't work. But you have a lot of information over that 16 weeks. A lot of people came in to give you real positive reinforcement and a lot of great ideas and information, and you need to put it to use or you'll lose it.
Mercy or Jessica, anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a practical way to apply what Timothy just said was keeping that block of time on your calendar. So the course, I think it was like from 6 to 8. So I kept that block of time to like actually get things done consistently. And another thing I would say is just to stay plugged in. There are many waves during the time, right? So there were some weeks that were a little discouraging, like when we're doing that, the competitor analysis, like it was a little discouraging, right? But still stay plugged in during those times, because each lesson or activity is really instrumental. And there's always a way to, like Jessica did, to go back to the content again with fresh eyes.
Jessica, any thoughts? No, you got it. They covered it well. Great. Well, I appreciate the panelists being here and sharing your thoughts. You know, obviously have some great people, great businesses. So please, spread the word on them. Kind of what's next for CIC? I'd asked that of the panelists. I think we're all looking for what this new normal is going to be. Kind of in the coming year, we're looking to transition back to working in person, this summer, and then opening our office to the public. Also, we're kind of making the final decision about our fall workshop. We think we're moving towards having it in person, but we have a couple of space things that we have to figure out. And but it's now a transition back. And so working through that and trying to, at the same time, help, many of our clients who are doing the same thing with a lot of their work. We're really looking to leverage the CDFI certification to do more, both more lending to help folks create those opportunities, whether that's that new truck and equipment for Tim's new employees, or, and Mercy's really ready to scale and, as she's growing, or, whatever Jessica might need. Those types of things, we want to be there as folks are growing. That could also lead, we're starting to see more inquiries and applications from some of the rural counties in our region as we're serving, and through our partnerships and work with SBDC, we're seeing kind of more clients kind of find us in that way. And so there's a lot of opportunities, I think, to still do more there. And then the SBDC integrating more of it is to make that experience. So whatever entrepreneurs and business owners need in the region, we want that experience to be seamless, whether it's the SBDC counseling and all that it offers through the state network or through CIC specific programs. There's a lot of work to be done on that. We would have probably done some of it last year, if not for the pandemic, and where everything was just pants on fire for most of the year. But we're looking to get back to that and continue growing, all of which to make it easier for business owners to make better decisions, take their next steps, and not have, any type of unnecessary barriers put in their way. Business is hard enough without experiencing barriers because of your background or your income or any of those things. And that's at the heart of what CIC wants to do, is to make it possible for anyone to be able to compete. So that's kind of where we're heading. As I always say, we need your help to continue doing it. All of you who are on this call have helped us. Even we have a number of other graduates who are on the call who have given back, either as volunteers or donors and others. You've all been incredibly important in that. And as we get back to kind of in person and all those things, volunteering, mentor, coaching, advising, we've already talked about patronizing great businesses. And we can see a lot of our graduates on our directory. It's harder and harder to keep that up to date on our website, but we post them there as folks complete. and would love to have your continued kind of financial support, for all of you. I think just about everyone on this call has helped us in that way and would love to have that as we go forward. So those are 3 quick and easy ways that you can help. And if you have other ideas or want to reconnect or learn more, we'd love to get together again. It's been hard in the last year, to stay connected as well as we would like, but we're really looking forward to continuing to build this network that is available to so many entrepreneurs throughout the region. So you're critical partners to that, and thank you for all that you've done. And hopefully we can continue to build this together. So that concludes our presentation for today. Happy to hang out for a few minutes with questions, but we didn't want to go too long with everyone. We wanted to keep it close to 45 minutes, and we're just a couple over that. So I think we're doing well, but thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the work that you do, and have a great rest of your day.